Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of the United States for the statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Algeria.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, allow me to express our appreciation to the United States for presenting this draft resolution we just adopted, aimed at implementing the comprehensive plan endorsed by all parties. We extend our thanks to the U.S. leadership and in particular to President Trump, whose personal engagement has been instrumental in establishing and maintaining a ceasefire in Gaza, thus bringing an end to the unbearable suffering endured by the Palestinian people for nearly 2 years. We acknowledged the efforts undertaken by President Trump in advancing peace worldwide, but we underline that genuine peace in the Middle East cannot be achieved without justice. Justice for the Palestinian people who have waited for decades for the establishment of their independent state. Mr. President, Algeria has engaged in the negotiations of this resolution on behalf of the Arab group and in close consultation, close coordination with the Palestinian representatives. We submitted what we considered essential amendments to ensure balance and integrity in the text. Some of those proposals were taken on board, and we continued to engage until the end, both on behalf of the Arab group and in our national capacity, to incorporate elements we believed would further improve the draft. It is worthy to recall that this text has received the support of broadly Arab and Muslim countries, whom in full responsibility have publicly endorsed the draft in its final version and called for its adoption. It is also worthy to recall that the Palestinian Authority at the highest level has openly welcomed the initiative and echoed the appeal to support the text. If Algeria has made it a solemn duty to stand consistently with Palestine, we have also pledged never to overstep this role, and above all, without engaging in any form of overstatement or one-upmanship, but rather to fully respect the choices and the decisions of the Palestinian people themselves and their representatives. Mr. President, in light of these elements, Algeria has finally decided to vote in favor of this text, a text that we support its core objective, namely the maintenance of the ceasefire and the creation of conditions enabling the Palestinian people to exercise their inalienable rights to self-determination and statehood. allow me, Mr. President, to underline the following points. First, this resolution is one more piece in the broader mosaic that forms the United Nations doctrine on resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Previous resolutions remain fully valid and constitute the essential foundation of any future effort. Second, this resolution must be read in its entirety. Its annex is an integral part of it, and all parties must comply with it. It clearly affirms no annexation, no occupation, no forced displacement. Third, humanitarian aid must enter and be distributed throughout Gaza through the UN agencies and other humanitarian actors without interference. Without interference, Israel can no longer impose restrictions that have contributed to the starvation of the Palestinian population in Gaza. Fourth, Gaza will be administered under a transitional arrangement by a technocratic Palestinian committee pending the return of the Palestinian Authority to assume its full responsibilities in the Strip as outlined in the comprehensive plan. Fifth, the establishment of an international stabilization force is a major development. We believe it will, as mandated, first and foremost, provide protection to Palestinian civilians and enable the complete withdrawal of Israeli occupying forces from Gaza. Six, today Gaza lies in ruins and its population bears the deep scars inflicted by a devastating war machine. The time has come. The time has come for the reconstruction of Gaza with the support of the international community, the international financial institution, including the World Bank. Algeria, for its part, will stand ready to assume its responsibility and will contribute to the effort to rebuild civilian infrastructure in Gaza, solely for the benefit of the Palestinian people. 7, Palestinian people are enduring immense suffering, not only in Gaza, but also in the West Bank, where settler terrorism has reached unprecedented levels. Dispossession, annexation, and the relentless expansion of settlement are eroding, day by day, the very prospects of a viable Palestinian state. Protection measures must therefore be extended to the West Bank as a matter of urgency. Accountability is equally indispensable. Security Council Resolution 2334 must be fully and faithfully implemented. 8, we hope that the implementation of this peace plan will open a genuine horizon for the Palestinian people to realize their inalienable right to self-determination and to statehood, one that brings together the Palestinian people of Gaza and of the West Bank, and finally puts an end to their suffering. The parameters of the solution are well known. They are clearly outlined in the New York declarations. What is now required is a collective, sincere, and decisive will of the international community to implement them. Mr. President, 2 days ago, the international community commemorated the 37th anniversary of the proclamation of the State of Palestine. That proclamation, made on the 15th of November 1988 in Algiers, still resonates with hope and dignity. Allow me to recall the words of late Yasser Arafat in the Palestinian Declaration of Independence. And I quote, "In its struggle to secure peace in a land that has always carried the names of love and peace, the State of Palestine calls upon the United Nations, entrusted with the special responsibility toward the Palestinian people and their homeland, and calls upon the peoples and nations of the world, especially those who cherish peace and freedom, to help them achieve their just aspirations and bring an end to their long tragedy. This requires providing them with protection and working decisively to end the Israeli occupation of the Palestinian territories. We hope that those engaged in this process will remain faithful to this call, a call that echoes across generations and continues to guide the path toward a just and lasting peace in the Middle East. My country, Algeria, as stated several times by President Abdelmajid Tebboune, will remain steadfast in supporting such an endeavor. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Algeria for the statement, and I give the floor to the representative of United Kingdom.
Thank you, President. The United Kingdom voted in favour of this resolution as a critical staging post in the implementation of the peace plan for Palestinians, Israelis and the region, turning the page on 2 devastating years of conflict towards a lasting peace. Last month, the international community came together in Sharm el-Sheikh to deliver a strong message of support for President Trump's 20-point plan, as well as the diplomatic efforts of Qatar, Turkey and Egypt. This resolution takes that plan forward and has the support of Arab and Islamic countries, which has been welcomed by the Palestinian Authority. We thank President Trump for his leadership and the US for bringing this resolution forward. It is right that we build on this momentum so an international stabilization force can be deployed quickly to support the ceasefire and to avoid a vacuum being left which Hamas can exploit. We must also substantially step up our work to support the UN humanitarian effort. That requires opening all crossings and ensuring that aid agencies and international NGOs can operate without obstruction. We must help those in desperate need where they are, throughout Gaza. Humanitarian relief and reconstruction must take place across all parts of the Gaza Strip and in a manner that prevents further displacement. We repeat our call for the urgent return of the remaining deceased hostages. President, the transitional arrangements that we embark on today must be implemented in accordance with international law and respecting Palestinian sovereignty and self-determination. This should strengthen the unity of Gaza and the West Bank and empower Palestinian institutions to enable a reformed Palestinian Authority to resume governance in Gaza. We also look forward to the urgent formation of a Palestinian Committee alongside the Board of Peace as part of the transitional arrangements. The UK remains deeply concerned that deteriorating economic conditions in the West Bank, alongside increasing settler violence, could undermine progress in Gaza. President, the UK will continue to work with the US and all our partners to implement this resolution and to map a credible pathway to a just and lasting peace for Israelis and Palestinians alike, based on a two-state solution. I thank you.
I thank the representative of United Kingdom for the statement, and I'll give the floor to the representative of Guyana.
Mr. President, at the outset, Guyana recognizes and commends the efforts of Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and the United States in brokering the ceasefire and hostage release deal between Israel and Hamas, following 2 years of a devastating war in Gaza, which claimed the lives of close to 70,000 persons and injured many more. That war was also a severe test for the entire region, with violence extending to several countries. Preserving the ceasefire deal is therefore critical for Palestinians, for Israelis, and for the stability of the entire region. Guyana therefore implores all parties to scrupulously abide by the commitments made and to refrain from all actions that undermine those commitments. Mr. President, Guyana voted for the resolution just considered, as beyond preserving the ceasefire, building on the ceasefire deal is also critical. Guyana acknowledges that the comprehensive plan to end the Gaza conflict seeks to go beyond the cessation of hostilities and to chart a clear path for the recovery and reconstruction of Gaza. In this regard, Guyana stresses that efforts to this end must be rooted in the two-state solution, which must remain the centerpiece of all peace efforts in Palestine. The continuing occupation of the Palestinian territory is a violation of international law, bolstered by the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice of July 2024, which confirmed this and said that the occupation must be brought to an end. The Security Council, therefore, must ensure the tenets of international law are upheld. Mr. President, throughout the negotiation of the text, clarity regarding the role of the Palestinian Authority in the recovery and reconstruction of Gaza was important to my delegation. Guyana is of the firm view that the PA must have an integral role in these processes, and that role should not be subject to preconditions that are not measurable. We believe that this is also linked to retaining the centrality of the two-state solution as the only just, viable, and comprehensive solution to the Palestinian question. Operating from this premise will ensure that Palestinians exercise their right to self-determination. Further, the central role of the United Nations in the recovery and reconstruction process must be safeguarded. Mr. President, Guyana anticipates that with the adoption of this resolution, the implementation phase will prioritize identifying and building on the synergies between the comprehensive plan and other relevant frameworks, including the Arab Plan for the Early Recovery, Reconstruction and Development of Gaza, the New York Declaration, and all relevant UN resolutions on the question of Palestine. We urge that the interest of the Palestinian people remain paramount. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Guyana for the statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Pakistan.
Mr. President, we thank the United States for tabling this resolution that welcomes and endorses President Trump's comprehensive plan to end the Gaza conflict and lays the groundwork for its implementation. Pakistan has voted in favor of this resolution with the primary objective in the immediate term to stop the bloodshed, to save the lives of innocent Palestinians, including women and children, to maintain the ceasefire, to ensure much-needed large-scale humanitarian relief, and to secure the full withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. President, the question of Palestine is at the core of the Arab-Israeli conflict. Pakistan's position on this issue has always been in line with and in support of Palestine and the Arab countries being the principal stakeholders in this dispute. Accordingly, our vote has been guided by the position of Palestine and the Arab group, as well as the group of 8 Arab Islamic countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Egypt, Jordan, Indonesia, Turkey, and Pakistan, that came together in September in support of President Trump's commendable initiative to bring the war in Gaza to an end. We have welcomed that initiative because not only it got the ceasefire on ground, it subscribed to the need for humanitarian assistance, reconstruction, provision of a secure and stable environment, and the hope for a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood. President, throughout the negotiations on the draft resolution, Pakistan supported the proposals of the Arab group submitted by Algeria and also submitted our own amendments to make the text more balanced and in line with international legitimacy that governs the Palestinian question. We acknowledge and appreciate the efforts of the penholder, the United States, for incorporating some of our suggestions, including the call for maintenance of the ceasefire in OP1 and a reporting mechanism to the Security Council. Some important suggestions, however, were not reflected, such as a clear political path to Palestinian self-determination and statehood, the central role of the Palestinian Authority in governance and reconstruction, and enhanced involvement of the UN, besides clarifications about the Board of Peace and the mandate of the International Stabilization Force. Those are all crucial aspects with a bearing on the success of this endeavor. We earnestly hope that further details in coming weeks will provide the much-needed clarity on these issues. President, after 2 years of devastating war and an unprecedented humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, where more than 69,000 innocent Palestinians have been killed, most of them women and children, a ray of hope emerged with the signing of the peace agreement at Sharm el-Sheikh peace summit between Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and the United States. Pakistan, as a part of the group of 8 Arab Islamic countries, welcomed the efforts by President Trump and his proposal to end the war, rebuild Gaza, prevent displacement of Palestinian people, advance comprehensive peace, and halt the annexation of the West Bank. We engaged with sincerity and constructively to help alleviate the suffering of the Palestinian people and support a viable path to peace, stability, and realization of their inalienable right to self-determination and statehood. Pakistan's consistent policy and every action pursuant to it is for a just and lasting resolution of the Palestinian question based on international legitimacy, Palestinian self-determination, and the establishment of a sovereign, independent, and contiguous state of Palestine based on pre-1967 borders with Al-Quds Al-Sharif as its capital. That must be the ultimate objective and the culmination of any peace process or initiative on the Middle East. Our position is firmly grounded in international law and relevant UN resolutions. Pakistan reaffirms its full support and solidarity with the Palestinian people and will continue to stand with them at every stage. We hope that the momentum generated by the ongoing peace efforts will help achieve these objectives, and we call on the international community to uphold its obligations in this regard. President, allow me to underline our position on some key elements related to today's resolution. First, the existing Security Council resolutions on the question of Palestine remain fully valid. This resolution shall not alter or diminish them. Second, the right to self-determination is inherent and unconditional. This right is enshrined in the UN Charter, applies equally to the Palestinian people, and cannot be subjected to any conditions. Third, as the resolution and the peace plan envisage, the Board of Peace is a transitional oversight mechanism. The mandate granted to the BOP by this Council is temporary and expires in 2027 unless renewed. Importantly, the executive and administrative authority in Gaza must remain with the Palestinians through a Palestinian committee. Fourth, we reiterate that the role of the Palestinian Authority is absolutely central and critical in this process. A legitimate Palestinian representation is essential for credible governance and genuine Palestinian ownership. Peace cannot be achieved in bypassing the Palestinians. There must be an end to policies that undermine and weaken the Palestinian Authority. Fifth, the establishment of the temporary international stabilization force could truly be stabilizing if guided by a clear peacekeeping mandate consistent with UN norms. Disarmament should take place through an agreed political process negotiated under a unified Palestinian national authority. It is also important that the ceasefire be fully respected by all sides. Unilateral violations of the ceasefire will threaten and thwart the entire process and must not be tolerated. Protection of the people of Gaza will be a key priority in the ISF mandate. Sixth, the reporting envisaged in the resolution constitutes a vital mechanism. It must be comprehensive and cover all aspects of implementation of the plan, including on the ISF mandate and activities. Seventh, Israeli troops must withdraw from Gaza, which is an essential requirement for restoring Palestinian sovereignty and securing durable peace. ISF mandate will only be effective once there is complete Israeli withdrawal. Eighth, there must be no annexation and no forced displacement under any circumstances. The territorial contiguity of the West Bank and Gaza is indispensable for a viable, sovereign, and independent state of Palestine. Finally, we believe that in order to break the cycle of violence, it is absolutely necessary to end the occupation and to have a political horizon, open the pathway to the Palestinian state through a credible, time-bound political process firmly anchored in the relevant UN resolutions. Durable peace and stability in the region will come only with the establishment of the Palestinian state as part of the two-state solution. President, looking ahead, the central roles of the United Nations, the Palestinian Authority, and the Palestinian people are vital in ensuring legitimate governance, reconstruction, and institution building in Gaza. The international community must stand with them steadfastly and firmly. At this solemn moment in history, Pakistan stands shoulder to shoulder with the people of Palestine. Their suffering is our anguish. Their resilience is our pride. Their aspiration, our cause. The people of Gaza have endured what no human being should ever face, yet they have proudly and boldly upheld their dignity, identity, and hope. Their courage obliges us to act with moral clarity and sustained political commitment. Pakistan reaffirms that we will continue to support the Palestinian struggle and the right to self-determination. And until its realization, our solidarity will remain unwavering and our voice unshakable. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Pakistan for the statement, and I'll give the floor to the representative of the Republic of Korea.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, the Republic of Korea voted in favor of the draft resolution tabled by the United States. The Security Council has taken a significant step toward ending the Gaza conflict and supporting a just, lasting peace in the Middle East. The Republic of Korea appreciates the leadership and constructive efforts of the United States in achieving this important progress. With an official statement last